We had no idea when we moved to Oklahoma. My husband loves to be barefoot in the grass. And when we moved to Oklahoma, we learned really quick that barefoot in the grass doesn't really work so much when you have stickers, right? Yes, you can use pesticides and you can use like Roundup and glyphosate and all of that. But with that, you hurt the natural soil. For us, we're like, well, how are we going to fertilize 5, 6, 25 acres that we have?
You talk about the geese, and I mean, you mentioned earlier that you have like 50 on property.
That we
Uh,
do.
and, and I was actually kind of surprised when you talked about just how able, what they're able to do, helping you manage
Yes.
y'all's land. I mean, can you kind of talk about that, and particularly the stickers? I mean, that was kind of a fascinating part of that.
Mm-hmm.
What I've done a lot of research on was and found in a video from OU where they talk about how to manage stickers. And their main consensus was that fertilization is how you really get rid of the stickers. Yes, you can use pesticides and you can use like Roundup and glyphosate and all of that. But with that, you hurt the natural soil. So your better option would be to fertilize. And if you can fertilize organically, it's even better because then the nutrition in the soil then grows with you. Well, we on our property seem to be living on straight up clay red dirt. That's it. Like there's no the spots where we might have some nice soil is down in the tree lines where you wouldn't plant the garden, for example. So like up here where the house is at, it's all just that hard packed red clay Oklahoma soil. And so for us, we're like, well, how are we going to fertilize 5, 6, 25 acres that we have? You can't just keep spending money and buying all these fertilizers. And the ducks and the geese were then one of the items that we said, you know what, if we have that, maybe that can help us out. Well, it was a trial run. We had about 12 geese out there, and these lived mostly around the house. We didn't have a garden planned or anything like that. So it was just the grass that was here naturally. And as they were eating the young shoots of the grass, and I mean, geese poop, for lack of better description, every 15 minutes uncontrollably. They can't hold it. It just happens. And when you watch them, they eat it, but as it comes out the other end, it's still green. They don't process it as much as, for example, a cow would or a goat would. So you literally are putting almost fresh chewed grass back on the ground. And as that then breaks down and creates that natural compost on the soil, now you're starting to have more fertile soils, which then makes the stickers go away for the most part. So around the house area where we've been having the geese for the last 3 years, we don't have any stickers anymore. If the dirt's not disturbed and the geese were able to do their job, then there's no more stickers. So it's starting to grow further and further away from the house. The stickers are becoming less and less because we are working with that fertilization concept of the geese.
And so I found that really fascinating about how it gets rid of stickers. And I was like, well, how does fertilizing your yard and that sort of thing get rid of stickers? And you answered that here today. And when they mow your grass, if for lack of a better term,
Right.
is it that they just eat the grass itself? Is that how that works?
So we do actually have different breeds. Some of them are a little bit pickier than others, like my Sebastopols. They love that young, fresh green grass, right? I mean, they will gnaw that down almost to the root. Whereas the cotton patches, and as the name says, they actually were used originally in cotton and cornfields for farmers to weed out the weeds. They were really used to actually weed eat in between the corn rows and in between the cotton rows. They will eat other weeds, for example. Like they won't just eat the grass, they'll eat your lamb quarters. They eat your even the sticker grass, which is a little bit more tough. We also have the African geese. They will eat the grass when it's a little bit taller and a little bit more tough. So the different breeds that we have all have a little bit of a different preference. I call them spoiled because some will eat what others won't. It's like when you have different kids sitting on the table and the one says, I don't like tomatoes, but I like nuts kind of thing. But in teamwork together, they're mowing the area around the house and the property that they get to stay at quite evenly. And they'll take it down to about 2 to 3 inches on average.
So just following along with that a little bit more, Do you have a combination of different kind of birds for different types of uses?
Yes. So the chickens will be the ones that actually will kind of till your ground. So in areas where the ground needs to be a little bit agitated for seeds or for fertilizer and stuff to get into a little bit more, let the chickens go over a while. The duck poop itself is a different type of fertilizer. It's a little bit more harsh, I would say. So in areas where you don't want something growing right away, having the ducks on it helps a lot. But we do more of a rotational grazing. We're kind of like will go over it at different times to have their effect on it. And then the geese will go over it and then we'll eat that grass. Where the ducks will go for the bugs mostly, and they'll eat some grass as well, but the geese will mostly eat the grass and some bugs. So each bird on the property has a little bit of their function, as well as what we got them for in terms of flavor, their meat flavor itself too, as we do consume them.
Right. So if you had a selection or just a little handful, two or three, which breeds would you combine together to make that work the best? I mean, as far as keeping the lawn um, free of stickers and the grass relatively short. And I also understood, and this is kind of a second question on that, um, is that chickens will get in your garden and they will damage the garden. So how do you keep the chickens and the ducks in the proper places? That would be kind of hard, I thought.
So we do work a lot with mobile fencing. We use the Premier One poultry fencing a lot, where we section it off. So like right now, I have a garden in the front and in the back of the house as a test trial, just to see, where's the sun at, which plant does better where. Like I have the same plants in the front as I have in the back. And the ducklings do fit through that fencing though. So they will come in and where I have my squashes and my pumpkins, and they will eat the squash bugs and the other bugs that are in between off. The chickens are not allowed in that area because they will destroy your garden currently. Now, when it comes time to take the fence down, even the chickens get to go over that garden and till it back up and root through it and find the rest of the seeds and everything else that's there for them. And then the geese actually, I figured out this year, really enjoy the leaves of the squashes and the pumpkins. Like they will reach through that fence just to get a good leaf going. So spoiled again, like they would rather go after what's close to the home versus spreading out a little bit and getting their grass. But a lot of it is to creating these different areas, creating different smaller ecosystems on the property. Like I have to do, being that it is so dry out here, and the ponds are further down on the hill, I dug 2 ponds already up here, and the plan is to add 3 more. So when it rains in the spring, that water gets caught and hangs around a little longer, so you don't have to worry so much about, using your well water and pumping all of that. And then with those, the different ponds, we also build smaller enclosures for them for breeding areas and breeding pens that are covered with soil and more underground in order to keep the temperatures more even for them while they're in those breeding areas.
Well, we're going to get into a little bit of the underground stuff here in just a minute, but I'm going to circle back just a little bit on like that combination. Like if you were to say, this is my perfect combination for doing everything that I want it to do, what would the breeds look like?
So I probably would choose the Muscovies because they are from the duck breeds. They are just fierce bug hunters. Like you can see them dotting all over the property. They will eat your flies, your cicadas, your crickets. I mean, they will find it, they will hunt it, and they will do this all day and all night. Chickens are very beloved. I probably would skip the chickens in this scenario if it was a perfect world. So I'm not necessarily a chicken wrangler, but I do love our model Javas. They're great chickens. They're dual purpose breed and they do have a good meat on them. However, they can be extremely destructive even to nests. So like having them next year, we're planning on having them in their own enclosure during breeding season. So they can be a little bit less destructive. So it would be the Muscovies. Then I would get myself Emdens because the Emdens really are your grass eaters. They will just go and eat grass all day. And the Cotton Patches would be my third breed because they really will eat everything else besides grass. So in order to really manage your property between the bugs and the fertilization, and then also the eating of the grasses and weeds, those would be probably my preferred 3 breeds that I would just have.
Okay, everyone out there. So if you caught that, and if you didn't catch that, go back and listen to that section again so that you can write down those breeds. If those problems are something you're facing, you're looking for a little bit of help around the maintenance of your yard, go back and write those down. Asking Susan how people can reach out to you and get in touch with you, and give them maybe your website information or your Facebook information.
Easiest way is always to find us on Facebook or Instagram. If you type in Secret Garden Farms, you will find our Facebook page and our Facebook group. And once you're part of the group, it's easy to ask questions in there, or even just send me a direct message on the Facebook page or within the group, and we'll definitely answer all the questions that anybody can have. But we try to keep it simple, just Secret Garden Farms, and you find us across Facebook and Instagram pretty easy.